blasted right
So
out of here.
I'll stand down Avenue Road.
I'll be better turn the guitaring down a bit later.
From the back.
So, Kenny, how are you going?
Oh, it's wonderful. Listen, first a few questions, then I'd like you to sing me a jingle, a goodbye jingle.
Okay, goodbye jingle.
Oh yeah, what can we expect from you in the next few months? I've heard you're working on it.
A lot of brown paper bags, Kenny. Actually.
Yeah.
We're working very hard on that at the moment, boys and me.
Anything tuney?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of tunes to be found in the bags, actually.
I got told that you don't actually come in here with the idea of doing an album, it just sort of falls out of one of the sessions.
Well, we have a vague idea, you know, Ken?
Yes.
As I was only saying the other day, we had a vague idea, but very vague. Also, very vague. Just a bit of laughter, ladies and gentlefolks.
Have you done any actual complete numbers?
No. We're halfway through the second incomplete number now.
Yeah. You don't actually do them whole complete and then finish with them and then start another one?
See, like, we've got to a stage with one where the next bit is musicians, so we'll have to write the musicians bit, you see. Oh, you see.
Do you ever get to, you've done your bit and you decide it would be good on its own, and then forget the musician?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody stole my gown. Somebody stole my gown.
Can you sing me a goodbye jingle?
Okay.
It doesn't have to rhyme or anything.
Goodbye jingle, goodbye, goodbye jingle, goodbye jingle, goodbye, goodbye.
And now a word for all our American listeners.
Goodbye jingle, goodbye jingle, goodbye, goodbye.
Wonderful. Will it pick them up, do you think? What? Do you think it'll pick them up? Of course it will pick it. Yeah. Is there any particular record out at the moment?
Oh, yeah, let me think. Nielsen. One of Nielsen's.
Which one, particularly?
As
you know, we've played quite a few of them.
Yes, so let me think, Ken, for the moment.
River Deep, Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
When I was a little baby, my mama used to smash me in the cradle, picking those old cotton fields back home. Oh, cotton fields. When mama was a little bitty baby, she used to smash me in my cradle. When I was a little bitty baby back home.
That was impresario John Lennon playing for you. And now, a few words from him.
And there goes some daddy story to each other. Kenny Everett, MBE.
So that's what India taught you?
Exactly.
Did you come back with anything incredibly fantastic?
Yes.
Or was it just a little
beard?
Yeah. I met Donovan the other day on a show, and he looked a little better for it.
Yes, it was very healthy, you know.
I got a photograph of you in the Daily Mirror, standing in a sheet. You look very peaceful.
That's called a banoose, Kenny, and I got it from Morocco.
Really?
Standing in a sheet. What do you mean?
It looked like a sheet.
Well, they do. Banooses look very, very like sheets.
Mm-hmm.
See, so as the lower classes in Morocco don't feel too put out.
Yeah.
Having only the sheets to wear.
I'd have black ones if I had dirt wouldn't show. Where's my cup?
Very hot, though. Very hot, Ken. Black clothes.
Is that mine?
Very hot indeed.
Have you got anything to say that our listeners would understand?
How about good morning?
About anything you've recorded so far? Something that they'll comprehend.
No, we've just done 2 tracks, both unfinished. And the second one's Ringo's first song that we're working on this very moment.
Exactly. He composed it himself?
He composed it himself in a fit of lethargy.
And what do you think about it?
I think it's the most wonderful thing I've ever heard since Nielsen's River Deep and Mountain Dew.
Well, that's about 30 seconds worth.
No, there's an LP out of this, Ken. There's an LP.
Hey, listen, you should
Kenny Everett. It's the Kenny Everett
composing this straight out of your head?
This is ad nauseum, straight from the mouth that bit me.
I don't know how he does it, friends.
Neither do I, friends. He sit here cross-legged on the amplifier, strummling away.
Guruing.
I hope we're going to hear this, listeners, because we have a lot of fun doing them, but never quite hear them, listeners. Never quite hear them when you get home.
Well, I will play this completely all the way through, just
Right.
for you.
For you.
What kind of guitar is that? Very strange looking.
Fretless guitar. Nobody's boy. Hear that, listeners?
How's business with Apple?
Oh, it's one. I mean, what can I say?
You couldn't ask for any.
I couldn't ask for any more tapes or bits of paper.
They won't get that either, but still.
So, wonderful radio wonders.
Ask me a few questions.
Okay, Kenny. What are you doing?
Well, at the moment, I'm having a daily show come on soon.
Really?
Yeah.
So they haven't sacked you?
No.
I was getting you a job with the Isle of Man.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I've put in the word for you.
Thank you.
With Ronald Manx.
I might need it. If you were stranded away on a desert island,
Yeah.
what one gramophone record would you take with you? Excluding the Bible and Sgt. Pepper as obvious choices.
One gramophone record. It hasn't been made yet.
You don't think there's any records worth taking?
Not all the way to a desert island.
Yeah. There's hair in my saucer. When you produce something of such a high standard as your last album undoubtedly was...
High standard.
High standard. Don't you think that you've really got to strive, like...
No.
To produce something a little bit better?
It only got high because everybody said how high it was. It's no higher than it was when we made it.
Yes. The hidden meanings on that one, ladies and gentlemen.
No, what I mean, Kenny, is that, you see, it doesn't pose a problem to us. It was so long ago, we've forgotten what it was about anyway. And let me put it this way.
That's it. Hey, listen, you were saying last time that I met you that you hadn't really had a chance to listen to it, Sgt. Pepper, because you've just been so busy making it. And
I don't think I ever did listen to it since we made it properly.
You haven't sat
down?
down?
Bits of it, yeah.
You haven't really sat down and...
Not since... I mean, I played it just after we made it, and that's it, really.
Yeah.
But I like to hear it on the radio.
Alright, shall I play it?
Yes, that'd be nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sgt. Pepper. Do you think Paul and you could do a duo harmony jingle?
Well, you'd have to get him.
Paul? Can you come and do a goodbye jingle? Well, that's pretty wonderful of you.
Goodbye to Kenny Everett, he is our very pal. Goodbye to Kenny Everett, is our very pal. Goodbye to Kenny Everett, he is our very pal. Goodbye, Kenny Everett. Goodbye to Kenny Everett, he is our very pal. Goodbye, Kenny Everett. Goodbye to Kenny Everett, he is our very pal. Goodbye, Kenny Everett. Goodbye, Kenny Everett. Goodbye, Kenny. Goodbye, Kenny Everett. Goodbye, Jimmy Everett. Boris Karloff. Goodbye, Boris. Melanie McCurry. Goodbye, Melanie. Goodbye to Benny Everett. And old Mount Everett too. Goodbye.
Rousing crescendo.
And it's a goodbye rousing crescendo.
Thank you, John.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Paul.
Tiny Tim, play Tiny Tim. That's what you gotta play. Tiny Tim.
Tiny Tim.
Yeah.
He's the greatest ever, man. Oh, he's the greatest. You see.
Yeah.
You see if I ain't right, Kenny Everett.
Give us our rendition of his song.
Fella on earth, man.
Play Tiny Tim, gentle readers.
Tiptoe through the tulip.
He's real.
He's real, man. We saw him.
He's like her, but he's much better. You can sing great. Isn't he? He's good.
He's great.
I mean, he's good with it. It's like it's a funny joke at first, but it's not really.
He's
He's
great.
real. And it's true.
How old is he?
Tiny
Even though you
Tim
may
for
think so.
president, oh Tiny Tim for queen. Tiny Tim for president.
Tiny Tim for green.
Well, that's it, really.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ronald.
He'd like to interview my cohorts for the following few months' show.
What is it?
The Kenny Everett
Everett
show.
show.
The Kenny Everett show.
Well, it's nice to be on the air again. People George speaking from the MI studio.
Sing goodbye to me. It's my last show next week.
Is it? Got the sack?
Goodbye, Kenny.
See you
in the morning. Goodbye, Kenny. See you at the dawning. Goodbye, Kenny. It's nice to see you back. Bye, Kenny. We hear you got the sack. Goodbye, Kenny. See you in the morning. Goodbye, Kenny. See you in the morning. Groovy, groovy, Kenny. Kenny, then the niggas down again. No, they're ready, showtime. Goodbye, Kenny. Goodbye, Paul. Bye, Kenny. Goodbye, Ringo.
Bye, Kenny.
Goodbye, John.
It's the tape. You've got an LP there.
Okay, Henry.
I'll do a rough voice now. A rough voice, then you can
Play your bits to it.
Goodbye, Kenny, and thank you for all you've done for us in the past.
It's been a pleasure.
Comes over the radio.
You're wrong, Kenny. It has not been a pleasure. It has not. Repeat, not. N-O-T-O.
Gives a rousing chorus of Strawberry Fields Forever in jazz tempo.
Strawberry Fields Forever.
Let me take you down. Cause I'm going to Strawberry Fields. But nothing is real. And nothing to be going with. Strawberry Fields Forever.
Thank you.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. It's just don't tell it you can't play it. Put it on.
play back. What speed is it?
7.5.
Oh, you crumbs.
Well, that goes to 7.5.
No.
That's only the first track.
Play it through there on the four track.
Pure MTG in my tape recorder.
God. Yeah, you can't. No, just bring it down. We don't want to play it back yet.
Okay.
Miss Blossom Dearie. And now we want to welcome two people whom you probably know, but two people whose art exhibition this year in London had a bigger impact than any other art exhibition, certainly, and whose philosophy about life and art fascinates a lot of people. Let's welcome now, please, Mr. John Lennon and Miss Yoko Ono. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
The Everett...
Stan.
Who's that?
Stan.
That's Stan, is it? Hello, Stan.
Hello. I'm just thinking to myself, how much more money do you suppose it could have cost for air conditioning?
The matter will be looked into. And after you've gone back to America,
I think you get
rejected.
the badge for that.
Yes, you gave me one of these badges beforehand. Now, what is this? This is really the basis of what you're talking about, isn't it? You are here.
It's that show, yeah.
Now, what exactly does it mean? You are here.
You are here.
Well, instead of Churro was there or something, usually people think in vicarious terms. They think, well, somebody's there. John Lennon's there, somebody. But it's not that. You are the one who's here. And so in art, usually artists give something that's an object, made object, and say, this is art, But instead of that, art exists in people's art. And so we don't believe in just making something and completing it and giving it to people. but we like people to participate and sort of all the pieces are unfinished.
Yeah.
And they have to be finished by people.
Now what have we got here? You were pointing at this as you were explaining that, Yoko.
Yes.
Tell us about this. It's what, a broken cup?
Well,
right?
it's just an example, but this is supposed to be a sculpture, and it's a broken cup, and an unfinished sculpture that would be just made by people, just gradually rebuilding it into a cup.
Well, and is the sculpture then the broken cup, or the way people rebuild it with
Well, the thing
glue?
is, there's no such thing as sculpture or art, and it's just a bit of, it's just words, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And like she's saying, everything is art, and we're all art. Art is just a tag, like a journalist tag, you know, but artists believe it. And that sculpture is anything, you know, you care to name it. This is sculpture, us sitting here. This is a happening.
Yeah.
We are here.
I don't think
this
it's
is
art.
art. Yeah, but I mean, if you gave that to a child, he wouldn't have any preconceived ideas, so you wouldn't have to say this is sculpture or this is a broken cup. You'd say there's that, there's glue. What do you do? You stick it together.
In reply to your question, I think you can say that this is just a process of art, or process of things. You know, everything is just a process.
Can you show us? We haven't got the You Are Here
canvas, no.
Canvas, because
Well, the
it's
point
locked
about
up
that
in
was-
a cupboard and no one could get at it.
Yeah.
Can
Well,
we
let
bring
me-
on a blackboard and the other thing?
It's better to explain why it was on canvas first.
Yes.
The point was, I had this idea that, like, you know, the street maps or things that say where a place is, you are here, you know, on those street map things. You've seen them?
Yes.
Right. So I thought, oh, that'd be a good idea to have a show where you actually had the street map inside the gallery, and you went in and saw that. So I thought, now, if I did that, and seeing as I've never done it before, and they've all got preconceived ideas about what I am, I thought, I'll put it on canvas, and that makes it art, brackets or inverted commas. You know, I mean, it is or it isn't, however you like it. So I put it on a big white round canvas and just had You Are Here that I'd written on it. And the point of the show was people went through various things to get to the thing, to the canvas, and then they reacted to it. And some of them just thought, oh yeah, you know, no hang up, you are here. And they got a badge. I had a hat saying for the artist, which they put money in or chewing gum or all sorts of rubbish and that. Anything, I didn't mind. And then they took a badge. But I filmed them secretly with a candid camera team, and sometimes they'd go up and go, so they put something in, or they'd take a badge and they'd look around and they'd take a handful. And there's all these amazing reactions. The whole point of the show was that was the art, that was the happening of these people reacting to it. Some people who are sort of less hung up just sort of accept it. Oh, you are here, good joke, or oh, so what?
And do you want people to look and receive things and just look at this sort of thing, or do you want them really to get involved?
Participate in
Well, they do participate as soon as they look at it. You see, now if you show it to a child, he'll just either take no notice of it because he knows he's here, or he'll just say, oh, you are here, you know, it's just written on the wall or in the toilet. And the film that you're going to show is the same thing. If you show a child a film, there's no preconceived ideas about what a film should be. But most adults have all this preconception about what everything is.
Yeah. Now, can we, in that illustration, show the film now without saying anything in advance about it?
Sure.
Right, let's just watch a bit of this film, and then let's see what your reactions are to it.
And also, I think, you know, I've learned a lot from John because, for instance...
Just 1 second. Let's watch the film for a moment.
Oh, all right.
It's out of frame.
Yeah.
Lift it up, lift it up.
You're getting it all down there.
Do you see it? Oh, yes.
Yeah. Oh. We didn't bring the soundtrack because we lost it.
Was there ever a soundtrack?
Oh, there is a soundtrack, yes. We haven't put it on yet.
But it doesn't really matter. I mean, any sound is sound. You know?
This sound will do.
This sound is right.
This is all right, is it? This sound?
Our sound is okay.
Yeah. It's still going on, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it goes on for an hour. But the point is, it's a film. I'll explain what I think about it. The point is that it's a portrait. You know, now if Renoir or any of those people had made a portrait of just somebody's face that never moves and just hangs on the wall, you accept it because it's people are used to that. But this is a portrait on film.
Well, not
Also,
only that,
well, okay,
but,
let me say that, baby. You do
okay.
it. So there's 3 minutes of film that was taken and spaced out to last an hour, very slow motion. So in an hour, in 3 minutes, a lot happens to somebody's face, anybody's face. A lot of amazing things happens, a lot of movement that you never realise goes on. And in this, you've got 3 minutes under a microscope to examine anybody's face, your own. You can't be bothered sitting there for an hour looking at your own face. And amazing things happen. Your whole head changes shape. Your nose is moving. Every part of it is moving all the time, which is known. But you're not aware of this in everyday life. But in that film, you can see it. And when we showed it to her daughter, she just said, "Oh, look, his nose is moving."
John has a funny nose. It's moving. Huh?
But show it to somebody else and say, "Well, a film about a face for an hour? Oh, yeah, sure. Like that.
But it's not just the face, it's as John said, it's moving, and it's just that wavelengths coming into you. It's like a vibration.
What do you want? Now we only saw 1 minute there of a 90-minute film, right? But what do you want our reaction to be?
Well, I don't expect any particular reaction, except that I was thinking of portrait. Well, if you have a portrait in your house or something, that you always think that it's there, and it's in your mind, so to speak. And one day you see the portrait again, and it just suddenly winks at you or something. And it sort of gives you a message. And this film goes on like that, but at one point, John just sort of smiles, and that's the vibration that comes across.
What vibration? What do you mean by vibration?
A message. I think just smiling is a nicer message than scorning, something like that.
And vibration is, if somebody happy, if we're sitting in your house or something, and we're feeling depressed, and somebody who doesn't feel depressed can come in and cheer us up just by his vibration or his attitude,
presence,
whatever, his presence.
Aura and all that.
If you say words, something happens, it just doesn't drop onto the floor or something. It's like radio waves. Whatever I'm saying now goes on ad infinitum, wherever it goes, because it's a waveform or a pattern. You know, it sets up a vibration. So everything you do or think does this too. You know, it doesn't just end here. It's like throwing a stone into water. Something happens, and every time you speak, the vibration you set up with your voice goes on till it wears out or whatever. And if you make a sound, if you hit a gong and listen to it, it goes. But it doesn't end when you can't hear it anymore. Carries on. The vibration is something that we could have between us. There's vibrations in here.
Can you get a vibration from?
Well, there is one.
These 200 people.
There
here.
is a vibration now. It's not. You can't. You'd have to be super sensitive to read the whole thing as well. But
What
you can tell that it's not aggressive vibration. It's not over antagonistic. It's interested, but still we're still a bit freaky because it's us still on TV. So there's that vibration, but there's a calm vibration here and a hot one. But, you know, it's sort of, there is a vibration. You know, there's an atmosphere, and vibration is just a word you think, hippies. You know, that's what they talk. The vibration is just vibration.
But
and you mean, in fact, that they're interested and a bit puzzled, you're saying, our 200 here. But I mean, the vibration would change as you convince them.
Not only that, but if they participate. In other words, as long as you participate in a thing, you start experiencing it yourself.
Well, let's get them to participate, because you've got a piece of wood here. Now, tell us about the piece of wood and the nail.
Oh, you tell them about it. I'll hang it up.
Yes.
You tell us about it.
First, it's a painting called Hammer Nailing, and I just hate the idea of painters just making a painting with color balance and the right texture, etc., etc. But this is just a painting that people come and hammer nailing wherever they want to, and that makes the shape of the painting.
I see. And what do we want the people to feel as they do it?
Well, they just have to find out for themselves. In other words, it's an experience. And I think, basically, the artist's role in start is extremely important in the sense that, now people are talking about revolution and things like that. Now, basically, I don't believe in revolution, because they say, well, revolution, if nothing happens, then we have to use violence too and all that. And the thing is, if we just go on making all these rituals and folk art and participating in that instead of
violence,
violence, yes.
What you mean is let them, as it were, bang a nail in rather than blow up a city.
Let it say that it's therapeutic or whatever.
Yeah,
it doesn't
well,
matter.
Look, John, can we?
Yes.
Would you like to get someone in the audience to come and try?
Right, anybody like to come along? Okay. Oh, hi. I know you.
Right, and can we have someone else as well to try this?
The thing is, if you gave it to a child, what would he do? He'd just do it. He'd have to go to a ritual of saying, this is a painting, this is a hammer and nail.
Right, will you... Right, why
With
don't
the
you...
first contestant, please, not the hammer and nail.
Right,
Supposing I want to hammer it in.
Oh, well, you can do that, but I mean...
Yeah, see, I can't because they...
Well, this is my blackboard. You don't want to wreck my blackboard.
Right, well, try doing it there.
If you do one in there, I'll let you do one in here.
Yeah. Try doing it there.
There you go.
I don't want to hit my finger.
You did very well.
Thank you. And Mike.
And Mike.
Now, what...
I wanted to hammer it in there.
I think all you can if you like.
Now, tell me, what...
I don't know whether you deserve this, but you get one.
Now, what feeling did you get as you were doing that, then?
What feeling? Feeling of satisfaction.
No, well, that's it, then.
Well, you're a successful example, right? You move over there.
Roll up.
You said.
Hammer and nail in, everyone a winner.
Right, try and hammer in a nail.
Anywhere.
No, not on John's blackboard, but up there.
So remind me to get cornflakes. A nice stroke.
Now, turn around the other way.
Would you like to?
Now, what did you get? Come round here, John. Come round here, John. Now, what feeling did you get out of that, Emma?
It was unbelievable.
I think this audience has been loaded tonight. Was it?
Absolutely. I can't explain it, really.
But you just hammered in a nail. That's all you did.
Well, that was it. It's just hammering in a nail.
Oh, it is good.
Is it good?
Yes, it is. Try it.
All right. Thank you very much.
And now for Alabama, Mr. Defrost is going to blow
Does it
one.
have to be a new nail? Or
Oh, yes, I mean, because you don't want to use anybody's old nail. You don't know where it's been, do you? He's hammering it in now, third stroke, beautiful stroke. Beautiful.
Now,
how did you feel?
I know this is a terrible condemnation of me, but I just felt like a man hammering in a nail.
I felt like one hammering it in on TV.
That's more accurate, yes.
Yeah.
Well caught. But but I mean,
just put the hand out for a collection.
Right.
For artists.
On the way out. I'm having a bit of a tax problem.
Yeah.
Now, did the first people presumably responded as they ought to have responded to, and I was just a prosaic Barry Bucknell. But I mean,
either way it's fine. Yeah.
But I mean,
either way is fine.
The thing is to what? Get people involved and get them to do things.
Well, ask her because that's her bit, really.
Yes, but it's
I'll ask you because it's your bit.
well, I mean, that particular one was mine. But you see, for instance, this piece here, it's called Built Around It. I just want to show you. This is by John. And you see, that's why I was saying that I've learned a lot from John because I was doing all these instruction pieces to make people get involved in it and everything. And then he suddenly one day said, why don't you use this as a piece and call it Build Around It? And it's also an instruction piece to let people do something to it. But the idea is that most art, people are more sort of artists are interested in destructive things, to destroy the establishment, etc. And we never thought of something like just keeping this as is and building around it. The concept was so beautiful. And so I said, well, that's your piece, so why don't we do a group show, And I was just going to run a show then, so I asked John to participate in that.
Well, in fact, because this is interesting, the thing with the nails, for instance, it was banging the nail in that the two of you first found that you agreed on art and so on.
Oh, yeah, well, I went... well, that's her version. She was having a show at this gallery, and I knew the fellow that ran it, so it wasn't... It's a bit embarrassing being a Beatle anyway, going into a shop, never mind going into a gallery, because they either all leap on you thinking, here's another mug, like a Texan, he'll buy anything. And I had a bit of a hang-up about art, too, having been to art school, and disliked the sort of attitude of the so-called artist, So anyway, I finally got to this show, and she had all these things on, all these hammer nail things, and that clock there, you listen to it to a stethoscope, all the things. And at first I reacted like a mug, like the ones that are saying they don't get a badge, I was thinking, haha, don't fool me. with all this junk, you know. So then there was this ladder and a thing on the ceiling. So I climbed the ladder, and on the ceiling it said, yes. You see, so I thought, oh, I agreed then. It's okay, you know. I mean, it's like those jokes, while you're looking at here, you're dribbling down your trousers and that thing. I mean, it's all sort of connected. I mean, people get a buzz out of that in the toilet, but if you put it on in a room, it upsets them a bit, because they've got preconceived ideas about where those messages should be. But it said yes. And if it had said no, well, I would have carried on with my preconceived ideas about art and artists. I'll give you an imaginary 5 shilling, and she agreed with that. She accepted that on the same basis as we accept her work. You know, I'd accepted her work, and that was how we met, actually.
But I mean, the thing is, and this comes back to the basic thing of what you're doing, really. Was it as much fun to you to bang in an imaginary nail and pay an imaginary 5 shillings as it would have been if both had been real?
Yes, because as a child I did a lot of imaginary bits, you know. I mean, it depends on the individual. I enjoyed then knocking the nail in. I enjoy knocking nails in walls to hang pictures up. But I also enjoy thinking, I'm going to do that, but I actually won't do it. I enjoy imagining doing things just as much. Don't you? I mean, you imagine a meal, you imagine sex, you imagine a holiday, and it's nearly as good as the actual thing.
No, in all cases, the real thing's much better. In all
my memories of holidays, even on a holiday that wasn't so good, I remember the good bit. You know, it's just like that. And if you imagine it, it's all good.
Sometimes imaginary things are much nicer. I mean, when you go actually in a park, the green is not that green, etc. You know.
But I mean, if imaginary things are as good as real things, are you saying? Give us an imaginary song.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you. But I mean, if imaginary things are as good as real things, then
no, I didn't say that. I
things
said
not almost as good. Do things therefore not matter at all? Is it all in the mind?
Well, I don't know. That's what they keep saying. That's what George's cartoon kept saying in Yellow Submarine. It's all in the mind, groovy, and all that. But it probably is all in the mind, you know. But I don't know.
Well, both are nice, I think. And also, you have to have, you know, somebody keep reminding you that you have a mind.
You're only awake when you realise you're awake, and when you're dreaming, you know it is just as real as being. Whatever happens is just as real. You know, whether you actually do die in a dream or fulfil whatever you're doing in a dream. There's nobody to tell me that it isn't as real as this now, because how do you know? You know.
You mean so that the thing is as real as... I mean, if you had to summarise, I mean, we've at last got about a minute to go. How could you... It's amazing, but how could you summarise what you want to get across to our people? Have the vibrations changed?
A little, yes.
Yes, to free the mind.
I think maybe it's got confusing with this, because we're not all that good, and we're not all that articulate, and it's nerve-wracking being on TV and trying to explain yourself. Now, we try and explain ourselves in what we do, and I do it mainly through music, and she does it through her art, like that. And it's hard to put words to it.
So we're not trying to explain,
but the thing,
we're just trying to communicate.
Communicate.
And communication itself is art, and art is communication. And so that, and people are getting so intelligent that you don't have to really explain too much. All you have to do is just touch each other, just shake hands, you know. And so this is a way of touching each other.
We'll start communicating as we end with the audience.
Join in now.
Yeah.
Getting the audience communicating now by joining in. This is the latest Beatles song.
Make you louder. Put the record up, Danny.
A 1, a 2. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Come on, baby. Who knows how much you love me? Oh, how long I've loved you, yeah. You come along one windy day, I heard you say that I wanna love
of music from the new Beatles double LP that's released on Apple Records tomorrow. This show is brought to you by the Daily Express, and with me tonight, Paul McCartney and Judith Simons of the Daily Express. We're going to talk about the LP, and I know that you're going to enjoy it. Well, Paul, I'd like you to talk about the LP in general.
What do you want to say about it, Tony?
The songs, I think, perhaps a surprise to some people, because I think a lot of people expected another step from Sgt. Pepper.
Well, it is another step, but it's not necessarily in the way people expected. On Sgt. Pepper, we had more instrumentation than we'd ever had, more orchestral stuff than we'd ever used before. So it was more of a production. But we didn't really want to go overboard on that this time. And we've tried to play more like a band this time, only using instruments when we have to, instead of just using them for the fun of it.
Is this for any sort of concept of being able to do the things live?
Yeah, and also for the concept that we like playing together. That's the main concept.
It's becoming quite a word. The first track on the LP is Back in the USSR.
It sure is, Tony. You're quite right, boy.
Can we just talk about this particular track, because it's a
Back in the USSR.
Yeah, it's a wild rocking thing.
Yeah, that's a track which it just sort of came. Because Chuck Berry once did a song called Back in the USA, which is very American, very Chuck Berry, very sort of he was serving in the army, and when I get back home, I'm gonna kiss the ground, and I can't wait to get back to the States. And it's a very American sort of thing, I've always thought, that kind of. So this one is like about, in my mind, it's just about a spy sort of who's been in America a long, long time, some fella who's been in America a long time, and he's picked up and he's very American, but he gets back to USSR, where, and he's sort of saying, leave it till tomorrow, honey, to disconnect, to disconnect the phone and all that, and come here, honey, and put with Russian women and that. You see, what it is, it concerns the attributes of Russian women. Soul element created by George's guitar and heavy brass. Flip side flapper.
Cliff Bennett is releasing it as a single. Have you heard this particular take yet?
No, I haven't heard this particular take, but it concerns the attributes of Russian women. Soul element created by George's guitar and heavy brass.
Let's hear it right away. Back in the USSR.
I like this kind of music, I like most kinds of music, so that I haven't got a bag, as they say, except the big black one in the hall outside. And this, this Oblada, and USSR, and Martha, and that, like are three different songs altogether. In fact, all of mine are on the LP. But I can't really say anything about that. I'm pretty diverse. You know what I mean? I haven't got one sort of thing. So this, I've no idea why it's Jamaican or anything. It's just because I like that kind of thing.
Did you write the song on your own? I mean, this is a combination of the Lennon-McCartney thing.
I think it was mainly me. John's a bit more Nigerian influenced.
Let's hear the Jamaican track right now. This is a ballad that's very interesting. Perhaps, although you didn't sing this particular song, you'd like to talk about it, Paul.
Well, it's I only like to talk about it because I like it. This is a favourite of mine. The idea of the happiness of the warm gun thing is from an advert in an American paper, where it said, happiness is a warm gun sort of thing, and it was sort of get ready for the long hot summer with a rifle, come and buy them now. It was an advert in a gun magazine, and it was so sick, the idea of come and buy your killing weapons and come and get it. And it was just such a great line, that happens a warm gun, that John sort of took that and uses that as a chorus. Yeah. And the rest of the words, I think they're great words, It's a poem. It's a poem, and it finishes off, happiness is a warm gun. Yes, it is.
So, in fact, he's probably fairly serious about...
Oh, it's as serious as anyone ever gets, It's not deadly serious. It's just words, and if you sort of really taxed him on it and said, would you be willing to die for these words? I'm sure he wouldn't. I'm sure it's not really serious. But the good words, I'd stick up for anyone who's sort of worried about them. It's just good poetry. Tune. And You see, I just start singing some words with the tune, and it just, you know what I mean? I don't ever write a song thinking, now I'll write a song about. I do sometimes, but mainly I don't. And mainly I'm doing a tune, and then some words come into my head, you know. And these happen to be Mark and my dear, you know. Although I spend my days in conversation. It doesn't mean anything, you know. But those just happen to come into my head. So that's what this song's about. So it is about my dog. But I don't particularly want her to remember me. And the song is about Mark and I don't mean it. You know. But, like, you make up songs. You know, you don't make up songs trying to make a serious... I don't ever trying to make any sort of serious social point. You know. I just make it because I've got to have words to music, you know. So I make up any kind of... So, you know, you can read anything you like into it, but really, you know, it's me singing to my dog.
Well, over what period, how long a time has it taken you all to get this whole LP together? I mean, write the songs?
Well, since we were in India, we started writing this batch of songs, and we've written a few since. But this is mainly the Indian batch that we've sort of finished. Sounds like Consignment of Eggs or something.
I think it's quite a beautiful song.
Thank you, Tony. Well, it's simple in concept because you couldn't think of anything else to put on it. And that's what I was saying about the Sgt. Pepper thing. Maybe on Pepper we would have sort of worked on it until we could find some way to put violins or trumpets or something on it. But I don't think it needs it, this one. You know, it's just, there's nothing to the song list. It is just one of those pick it and sing it, and that's it. The only point where we're thinking of putting anything on it is where it comes back in at the end. So it stops and then it comes back in. But instead of putting any backing on it, we put a blackbird on it. So there's a blackbird singing at the very end. And somebody said it was a thrush, but I think it's a blackbird.
We'll take your word for it. Blackbird. And Paul McCartney with us on the show as well.
I don't know. Rocky Raccoon. I was sitting on the roof in India, just sort of with guitar. John and I were sitting around just playing guitar, and we were with Donovan. And we were just sitting around enjoying ourselves. And I started playing the chords of Rocky Raccoon, you know, just messing around. And originally it was Rocky Sassoon. And then we started making up the words, you know, the three of us, and started just to write them down. They came very quickly. And eventually I changed it from Sassoon to Raccoon, because it sounded more like a cowie. So there it is. It's just, you know, these kind of things, you can't really talk about how they come, because they just come into your head, you know. They really do. And it's like John writing his books, you know. There's no... I don't know how he does it, and he doesn't know how he does it, but he just writes. It's like any writer, you know. I think people who actually do create and write, you tend to read it and think, oh, well, now, how did he do that? But it actually does flow, just flows into their head, into their hand, and they write it down, you know. And that's what happened with this. I don't know anything about the Appalachian Mountains or cowboys and Indians or anything, but I just made it up, you know. And the doctor came in stinking of gin and proceeded to lie on the table. So there you are.
I suppose the idea to do the thing with some sort of an American Western accent also happened this way. Did it just?
Oh, that was just a joke, you know. As most of it is.
But I'm going to leave it all to you. It's called "Why Don't We Do It on the Road?" What, I suppose somebody will say somewhere.
Dance, Tony, dance.
There's also another one of yours called "I Will." We've covered the areas where the songs just seem to come to you and just happen this way. You get ideas. Obviously, this particular track happened the same way. The twangy guitar type thing is used again on this one. There is a slight influence, well, I say influence, there's a lot of sort of, I suppose, music that you could call rock and roll on this LP, isn't there?
Yes, well, we are. You know, we've always been a rock and roll group, I suppose. You know, it's just that we're not just completely rock and roll. That's what I was trying to say before about Obladi, USSR, Birthday, you know, all the different kinds of things. We're not just completely one kind of group. Because like when we played in Hamburg, we didn't just do rock all evening, because we had these, you know, sort of fat old businessmen coming in and saying, or thin old businessmen as well, but coming in and saying, you know, play a mambo, you know, can you do a rumba? And we couldn't just keep saying no, you know, so we had to get into mambos and rumbas a bit. So that this kind of thing, it's a pretty sort of smoochy ballad, I Will. But we have to do that kind of stuff, you know. So we've always played a lot of kind of things, you know. So I don't know if it's getting off the subject, but that's why, like, there's a great variety in this LP, because in our things, in everything we do, you know, we just haven't got one bag, the Beatles, you know. I mean, because on one hand you'll get something like I Will, and then you'll get Why Don't We Do It in the Road, you know. Just completely different things, completely different feelings, but it's me singing both of them. It's the same fella, and I wrote both of them, you know. So you can't explain it, you know. I don't know why I do Why Don't We Do It in the Road, shouting it like that, with a piano and just a rock and roll thing, and then do this sort of smoochy Latin American girl from Ipanema. Take it away, Paul. Rock and roll.
The next track is back in the old rock and roll style, which I guess we've already really covered. But once again, this is a very loud type, if you like, discotheque type number.
Good story about that, Tony. What happened was The Girl Can't Help It was on television. That's an old rock film.
Right.
With Little Richard and Fats Domino and Eddie Cochran and a few others, Gene Vincent. And we wanted to see it. So we started recording at 5 o'clock. And we said, well, we'll just do a backing track. We'll make up a backing track. So we kept it very simple, 12-bar blues kind of thing, and we stuck a few bits here and there in it, with no idea what the song was or what was going to go on top of it. We just said, okay, 12 bars in A, then we'll change to D, and then we'll do a few beats in C. You know, we really just did it like that, random thing. And then we came back, because we didn't have time for anything else, and so we just recorded this backing. And we came back here to my house and watched The Girl Can't Help It. Then we went back to the studio again, and then made up some words to go with it all, which were, they say it's your birthday, well, it's my birthday too, yay. And so this song was just made up in an evening. You know, we hadn't ever thought of it before then. And it's one of my favourites, you know, because of that. I think it works, you know, because it's a good one to dance to. Like a big, long drum break, but just because instead of, well, normally we might have sort of 4 bars of drums, but with this we just said, no, keep it going, you know, keep it, you know, we all like to hear just drums plodding on. So, no more explanation, it's called Birthday.
Simon's another track that you use acoustic guitar, and there's probably more acoustic guitar used in this set of tracks than you've ever used before.
Yes. Well, it's the same thing again. You know, we wrote them with guitars, and John, on a lot of his, John picks the guitar, because he learned off Donovan when we were in India. Donovan showed him how to finger pick. You know. So he sort of stuck it in everything then. And while he was learning finger picking, I was sort of playing acoustic as well, you know, acoustic guitar. So that's it. That's why they crept in like this. We decided not to try and cover them up with it like we might do normally, and just use the acoustic guitar instead of, say, a piano or an electric guitar or anything. So the only thing about this one, however, it says, born a poor young country boy, and I was born in Walton Hospital, actually, so it's a dirty lie.
Paul, lots of the songs that you do, I imagine the production ideas come to you when you get into the studio after you've written the song. Is this true? I mean, do you...
That is quite true, Tony, that is quite true. Accurate observation.
Beautiful track. And a lot of the tracks that you've selected to comment on during this show tonight are some of the big, you know, loud, uptight ones.
Well, the only ones I'm commenting on are the ones I sort of wrote or have a lot to do with. Because I don't want to go commenting on John's songs in case I'm wrong, you know, because he wrote them, you know, most of them. So I don't really want to go into... Anyway, Helter Skelter, yeah, that came about just because I'd read a review of a record where it said, and this group, it was about some group, I can't remember, saying that this group really goes wild, and they just, there's like echo on everything, they're screaming their heads off. And I just remember thinking, oh, it'd be great to do one like that. The pity they've done it, you know, must be great, really screaming record. And then I heard their record, and it was quite straight, and it was very sophisticated. It wasn't rough and screaming and tape echo at all. So I thought, oh, well, we'll do one like that then. And I had this song called Helter Skelter, which is just a ridiculous song. So we did it like that, because I like noise.
That's the way we'll hear it. Helter Skelter, 5 talky picture feel, somebody once said in the last couple of days. And in fact, this is the sort of thing that I think when I heard it first, the Russ Columbo type thing came to mind immediately. So why?
I've never heard of him. Russ Conway, yes, Russ Columbo. Why did it come to mind? What do you mean?
Well, I mean, it was just that sort of, I suppose, 1920s song, and I can imagine the thing with the guy on stage with the, in this case, you maybe with the megaphone and the cymbal thing and the precise type backing.
Yes, well, I like, you know, my dad's always sort of played fruity old songs like that, and I like them. I like the melody of old songs. And the lyrics as well, you know, there's some old lyrics like, you know, sort of a woman singing about a man, and she's saying, something about, I want to have his initial on my monogram. Or something, you know what I mean? Yeah. Just good lyrics and just good thoughts that you don't sort of hear so much these days, you know? And so, I would quite like to have been sort of a 1920s writer, because I like that thing, you know. You know, the top hat and tails and sort of coming on to this kind of number. I like that thing. But, so this is just me doing it, pretending I'm living in 1925.
So it's Honey Poe, and we'll have goodbye on the show tonight. Thanks very much for the time and your comments, which I know so many million people out there are going to be very interested in. The final track, I suppose, is the wrap-up to the LP and to the show tonight. And I would imagine that a lot of people who are known as standard singers or middle-of-the-road singers in America are probably going to record this track.
Yes. It's very much that kind of track, you know. John wrote it mainly. It's his tune, you know. Which is surprising for John, because he doesn't normally write this kind of tune. It's a very sweet tune, and Ringo sings it great, I think. But the arrangement was done by George Martin, because he's very good at that kind of arrangement, you know, very sort of lush, sweet arrangement. And that's all I can say about it. It's very sweet, and in fact, it's good night.
Thanks so much.
Well, from Paul McCartney and the Beatles Monthly, thank you.